Hello, my name's Veronica. I'm a CNA in the state of Tennessee. I live in the West Tennessee area. I just wanted to share some of my experience as a CNA. Please forgive the way I look right now. I'm just relaxing around the house. And I know I don't look like I'm out getting ready to do much. But anyway, my journey as a CNA started back when I was a teenager, back in the 80s. It was the first type of work I did back then on the summer youth program in the local hospital. For I guess about 8 weeks, I worked in the hospital, got experience as a CNA, did everything that I did prior to getting certified. And I may add, during that time, you didn't have to be certified. You just went in, got trained, did the work. That was it back in the 80s in Tennessee. Now we're gonna go down the road a few years from 87 to 1996. 1996, I got a job in the nursing home. I was not certified yet, but I went through I think it's like 5 weeks of training. You do maybe 2 or 3 weeks of that classroom training. The rest is on the floor. Then you go get your test. Then you're certified. Okay? I think I lasted about 6 months on the floor. It was just, as a new CNA, it's just hard. And if you're not coordinated and you don't have good time management skills, it's just harder to get into the groove of things. Okay, so I did not do CNA work from 1996 to about 2009. 2009, needed a job again, needed full-time work, needed some income, so I went back to that same local nursing home. Went through their class, got recertified, and I pretty much have stuck with it since 2009. This is August 2022, so I'm still doing it. I've did other work since becoming a CNA again in 2009. What I can say about this type of work is it can be rewarding and a curse at the same time. Well, unbeknownst to me, what I did more than 26 years ago has paid off. I didn't make any money back when I first started. I think when I first started as a teenager, the minimum wage was $3.35. When I got certified in 96, it was $5.15. It wasn't until about, I'd say 2014 in Tennessee or in this area, CNAs started getting paid better. I think the first pay raise was like, oh my, it was like maybe a $3-4 raise in the nursing home. Of course, I was already doing something else as far as CNA, and it was home health, but in the nursing home setting for a long time, I think in 2009 I was making $8.35 after certification, and I just couldn't make a living like that. I mean, $8.35. You give them all your time, and the way they work your schedule, you're just gonna make the bare minimum. You gotta have an extra job. So I think around 2012, I went to home health. But that's not too stable either, because if you just have one client, something happens to that client, you don't have a job. So I went back to a facility, which wasn't nursing home, but it was similar. It was 12-hour shifts. The work was more stable, but again, you're working full time, and the amount of money you're making is going to be limited because you're working on their schedule. It's always that schedule. So I worked full time with them, driving about 40 miles from home. Gas wasn't that bad back then, but I still spent a lot on food and gas. And then I had to pay my bills on top of that. So I transferred to a sister facility in my hometown from the company that I was working for 40 miles away, which that facility and the home facility was owned by the same people. By that time, that was 2018, but in 2014, at that previous facility, I think they gave us a raise. I think at that facility, though, they gave me like $11.50, which that was better than $8.35, but it still was kind of low. You couldn't hardly make it on that amount of money. So I got a $3 raise in 2014 from $11.50 to $14.50. Okay, so I worked from 20. Well, it was 2018. I stayed at that facility to 2018. In 2018 is when I transferred to the one in Selmer. So now, from 2018, when I come to work at Selmer, I think I was making $14.50 or something like that. This is my hometown facility. And then back maybe 2020, we got a new administrator. She bumped me up maybe 50 cents. She topped us out. She said CNAs at that time in this facility is supposed to be making $15 an hour. Okay, I mean, I can live with that. But again, I was working their rotation, working all those hours. And then I would pick up extra days to make up for the money issues. And then they would cut it out. They would cut the overtime out. No more overtime. So I got tired of the back and forth and the control and not being able to make the money I need to make. So I come up with a plan with that pay raise. The only way to make any money as a CNA at $15 an hour is to put in part-time hours here and part-time hours there at the nursing homes. Where I live there's within about, maybe we'd say 30-mile radius, there's about at least 5 to 6 nursing homes. There's 2 in this county that I live in. I've worked at both of them. I'm still at the one that I transferred to. It's just a way that you schedule yourself. Okay, now I do every weekend at the nursing home here in my hometown. I do every weekend. I work Saturdays and Sundays, and I get a bonus for that. So I have a base salary. Okay, during the week, I was picking up a couple of days, 12-hour shifts at another nursing home, which is owned by different people. But the problem with that, I was doing 4/12s. I would work Saturday and Sunday, 12 hours at my home nursing home, and then the one in about 15 miles away, I worked 12 hours Mondays and Tuesdays. Well, it was getting to me. So recently, I let that one go, the one that I was traveling 15 miles away, because I could not handle the 12-hour shift on my feet 4 days straight. Went off, did other things, doing some different stuff now, but getting ready to go back into another nursing home. But this time I decided to do evenings. See, and still make the money I need to make to live on. So you do the way I'm doing it, I do the 12-hour shifts on Saturday and Sunday. Found another facility that will allow me to work the evening shifts maybe 3 days a week. And that right there would give me the amount of money that I need to make to live on. And then have time for myself at least 2 days a week. Because in nursing homes, sometimes you don't have that. You don't get that when you work their schedule. They may call you at the last minute and ask you, can you work for such and such? Can you fill in? It's just unreal how you may end up having to fill in for somebody. And it's usually on the weekends. So that's why I chose to work weekends all the time, because that's when you have the most call-offs. And I know I'm sure of a job because they're only be short all the time on the weekend shift. So that's how it is. But the way I work now, I work 24 or 23 hours because they take out time and they take out lunch, 30-minute lunch break. So I get paid for 23 hours for the weekend. I get $150 bonus, $75 for each day that I pick up on the weekend. So that's a $150 bonus. And so the other facility that I'll be picking up, I'll be working maybe 3 10-hour shifts, but evening shifts. Because at nursing homes, the routine during the day, you got meals, you've got people have to get bathed, you got all of that going on during the daytime. And usually my routine is I get most all of my baths done before the lunch hour. It's between that breakfast and lunch hours that you do your baths. You don't want to do a whole lot of that after lunch. You can, but you do want to work towards some downtime during those 12 hours. Or 8 hours. You want to be working toward finishing up. If you're giving baths all day, you're going to be bathing and you won't have time to do much anything else because you got to do your charting. And you do want to take that lunch break because they're going to take out for it. Do not give them that time that they're not paying you for. They will let you do it too. You can do it, but you fill out your little time correction sheet. And they don't like for you to do that all the time. So you should always take your breaks. But you've got to have good time management skills. And I've learned after doing this type of work for many, many years now, off and on, you got to learn how to manage your time. You got to know when to do your rounds, to check everybody and change everybody. You got to know when to take your break, your lunch break. I don't really take the 15-minute breaks because you don't really have time to do that if you're trying to get stuff done. I mean, a lot of people, they can take their 15-minute breaks. I just usually just make sure I take my lunch break because I know I'm not going to get paid for it if I don't. So I take that. But like I said, as a CNA, you got to have good time management skills, and you've got to figure out a way to make your money that you need to make. You just got to decide, do you want to let them have all that control over your time and your life? At the end of the day, you're the one that has to pay your bills. And to let a facility take over your life to the point where you can't make your money you need to make, then you need to sit down and think about that. Think about that and think what you need to do to fix that issue. And I'm just telling you what works for me. I work part-time at one facility and part-time at my home-based facility, but never full-time at one facility. Never full-time at one facility. If you do full-time at one facility, they're gonna pretty much rule your life. And they don't want to let you take off when you want to a lot of times either. Oh, and insurance. You wonder why. Okay, how am I taking care of insurance? I do have health insurance. I had to obtain it on my own, but I do have health insurance. So you can find health insurance if you live in a state. Most states you can find some private health insurance. And work insurance is not really that cheap. I know when I was working full time, I think, if I'm not mistaken, about $300 of my salary went towards health insurance premium. So, you can do better. You can do better. Again, this is just some advice for you guys that are in the healthcare field and that you are like myself, are certified nursing assistants. Just wanted to share some of my experience with you to help you along the way. Thank you.